What is Seeds of Peace? Seeds of Peace is an organization that brings teenagers of warring nations together at camp. It is dedicated to inspiring and equipping new generations of leaders from regions of conflict with the relationships, understanding, and skills needed to advance lasting peace. In 1993, a man named John Wallach started this organization, which originally only had 46 seeds or campers and now has expanded to over 5,000 seeds per summer at all the camp locations. John Wallach was a journalist who wanted to make a peaceful world for future generations. For 20 years, he was the foreign correspondent for the New York Times, PBS, CNN, NBC, and many radio stations, but quit his journalist job in 1993 after the World Trade Center was bombed. This was the turning point for John when he decided to start this organization. John always believed that by just making one friend with someone of a warring nation, that would be able to make a big difference. John saw his dream become a reality until his death in July of 2002 of cancer. He never stopped fighting for a world with no hate.
A great loss, not just for seeds, for humanity. In 1993, he decided to give us all hope. He decided to make this the most amazing place in the entire world, so we can have a better lives. So we can go back and make a change in our country.
Taking the steps towards a peaceful world would not easily be done in a country that is at war, which is why Maine is the perfect location for this camp. John picked this location because of how quiet and naturally beautiful it is. When developing the camp, John had the help from Bobby Gottschalk and Tim Wilson, who have been the camp directors since John passed away. Camp is split up into sessions that are each 3 weeks long. Within these 3 weeks, campers learn to live and interact with the people they have been brought up to hate. Originally, the campers were only from America, Egypt, Israel, and Palestine. But now, having more international locations, more countries are participating in camp, which include the Middle East, South Asia, Cyprus, and the Balkans. In total, there are 27 countries represented. Although most of the campers coming to the camp in Maine are from foreign countries, there are still teenagers from the United States that attend. The experience that the American campers have at camp is a bit different from that of the foreign campers, because they are not living with the conflicts that the foreign campers live with on a daily basis. At the beginning of every session, the campers are hesitant to interact with each other because of fear and hatred towards the other person. Some campers are so hesitant that they make their fellow campers scared or upset to make themselves feel more powerful. This is an Israeli camper's experience of getting bullied by a Palestinian camper who cannot get past the barrier of hate.
Someone from the Palestinian delegation, he painted on the wall Israel map and wrote it on it Palestine. And I was very frustrated because just night before we were so buddies, we were laughing and in 1 minute he exploded in my face and I was so frustrated. I was so disappointed of him. I was thinking there is no hope to peace. All he wants is to kick me out of my land. And to name my land in another name, he is a brainwashed kid, definitely. Israel gives the Palestinians security, electricity, water, and also letting them exist.
This is the problem with the Israelis. They do not think that we are human beings. They do not know that we are equal on this planet.
It is through the activities and discussions that help all the campers connect to each other. Many of the activities that the campers do are very similar to those of any other summer camp. The activities include rope climbing, swimming, boating, crafts, and many sports. All the activities that the campers do have team building aspects to them, making the campers get to trust, respect, and listen to each other. They even go out of camp to events like local sports games, and they always put their own flair on the cheering.
I hope there is kosher food.
One of the main aspects of this camp that makes it so special is that there are discussions held between groups of campers from warring nations. In these discussions, campers are able to openly talk about topics that have been bothering them and that they might not necessarily be able to speak about in their home country. Most of these sessions can be extremely difficult for campers to deal with, making it almost impossible to express their feelings through words. No matter how difficult these discussions can be for some campers, they always feel better after expressing themselves. This is a clip of what a discussion session was like for a Palestinian camper who could not seem to find the right words to get his message across to his fellow campers.
Communicate in different ways, not just with our mouths. If you think you can express to the group how you're feeling through your movements, then you can do that here.
They told me that when I said go back to Europe, the Jews understood it, go back to Germany and go back to Hitler and go back to Holocaust. I never denied that the Holocaust was a terrible disaster. I never denied it. I think all of us know. Some people started comparing the suffer of Jews and Palestinians right now. The Jews are convinced that they suffer more and we're convinced that we suffer more.
After hearing stories from our grandparents in the Holocaust, it's something that you can't really understand how someone can tell you something like that. Some of the campers came from Russia just a few years ago, so they had to handle with the persecution over there.
The end of camp, no matter what kind of camp it is very difficult for everyone because it means leaving your summer family. During the 3 weeks that these teenagers are at the Seeds of Peace camp, they make lifelong friends with people they never imagined they would become friends with. And when they return back home, it will be virtually impossible to see each other. Another big reason for campers not wanting to leave their home at Seeds of Peace is because they don't want to go back home to deal with the war and danger that is happening right outside their door. Asil Aslev was a dedicated Seed who wanted a better world for everyone. He was unfortunately shot and killed in Israel in 2000 at the age of 17.
We lost a Seed this year, Asil Asli, an Israeli Arab who was shot. No Seed visited more Israeli high schools to spread the message of coexistence. When he died, his parents discovered 30 Seeds t-shirts in his closet. Indeed, he was buried in the bloodied one he was wearing.
Seeds of Peace has been able to spread peace through many countries. Even though it has not ended any wars, it has educated the teenagers of the countries about how important peace is. This will help to prevent the future leaders of these countries from starting wars. As John Wallach always believed, there cannot be any more hatred. The world needs to teach peace starting with the younger. Let these teenagers bond because they are teenagers, not because of hate.